Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is game number 2 here between Dignitas SjoW and TSL's Killer. In the upper left-hand corner of Shakur's Plateau, we have got SjoW as the red Terran player, and in the bottom right-hand position, TSL's Killer as the blue Protoss player. So yes, game number 2 here in this series between these two players, this time on Shakur's Plateau. Game number 1, very, very macro-focused. Both players, moving into their 3rd and 4th expansions before we saw much of any aggression, and eventually just working up to that 200 supply. And unfortunately for SjoW, those engagements did really not go well for him at all. Killer was just able to dominate with Colossus, proper storm placement, good positioning, all sorts of factors led to Killer doing very, very well in that engagement. In general, you do hear people say that Protoss, once we move into those later stages of the game, starts to be in a strong spot. Obviously, the Terran player themselves has the advantage of Ghost, being able to land snipes and EMPs. I would say a major blunder for SjoW in that game. He had a large grouping of Ghost, and he lost probably about 2/3 of them before he even realized that they were under attack. After that, he landed like 2 EMPs, but he had, I think it was like 12 plus Ghosts all clumped up in one big group, and losing 2/3 of them before even landing a single EMP is devastating, and that was a great action there by Killer, being able to spot them out of position and quickly take them out. And a very unfortunate moment in the game for SjoW. That's so many resources and such a hefty loss. So anyways, that is enough about game number 1. Here we are at game number 2. As you can see, they are spawning in cross-positional locations, so again has the opportunity to lend itself to a macro-heavy game. Shakur's not quite as large as Terminus is. It's just not as large of a map overall. So yeah, that's just something to note. That is all I need to say about that. Just not as large of a map. We can see Killer now finished with his gateway. He did move on in and did spot the fact that SjoW has 1 refinery. So a little bit different from what we saw last game. SjoW going no gas early on, deciding to go for that 1 racks expand right off the bat. You can see that full wall off here from SjoW. That is signifying the fact that he is trying to hide something, however. So maybe going into a factory right after this. It seems like that, in fact, will be the case. So we'll be teching up pretty early on. And we'll have to see what he decides to do with that. Now, the 1-1-1, certainly an option, certainly a possibility. He could go into quick Cloaked Banshees and then try to harass from there, and move into an expansion after Cloaked Banshees. You see that sometimes as well. We'll have to keep an eye on what SjoW decides to do after that factory. And in fact, SjoW deciding to scout out with his Marine. That's an interesting decision. We have got a Stalker making its way on through, and unfortunately for that Marine, once that Stalker's in play, if he gets within range of the Marine, see you later, buddy. A single Marine does not stand a chance and cannot run away from that Stalker, especially without that stim pack research. So, I feel that this Marine is in a heap load of trouble. Marine right now moving down into TSL Killer's base. That Stalker just about to pop. We also have a Zealot here at that Zelnaga Tower, and we do have the Marine heading back wisely, because here comes that Stalker. I feel like watching an episode of Jaws. And if actually checking for that Marine, just spotting that the Marine is actually heading back home right now. That Stalker will be in hot pursuit, trying to chase down the probe, probably trying to go for a little diversion tactic to pull that Marine back. The Marine, though, grabbing the tower as the probe heads back, spotted the Stalker and realized, ooh, it's time to get home. And here comes the Stalker catching up to that Marine. And look at that drastic speed advantage. It is not a good day to be a Marine right now. And we've got a Hellion coming out as well. But, ooh, is he going to actually pull back for it? Yes, he will. He will pull back for the Hellion. He will be trying to take that out. The Hellion is actually having the advantage, of course, over the Zealots. Not even bothering to get a single shot off, though, because he is just pushing out for that scouting intel. Moving first into the 3rd and up into the corner. Interesting decision there. Checking up in that upper left-hand position and then moving down to the bottom right. And here we go. Let's see if that scouting information actually ends up going through. Dignitas SjoW will be hopefully trying to get in the main. We've got that 1 sentry, though, as expected, and that will be able to land that force field. So realizing that that is going to happen, deciding to just pull back and nicely place force field, pushing that Hellion a little bit closer, allowing that Stalker to get that extra shot off and result in the kill. Now here we go. As we can see, Medevac coming into play, and we will be seeing some drop harass. We'll be seeing some Hellion harass, in fact, and we'll have to see how effective that ends up being. Now, SjoW is going to want to do a lot of damage here. If he doesn't, then this could be definitely quite a costly investment that results in very little gain. He needs to try to hit that resource line pretty significantly here. I would say if he can get upwards of 4+ Orkers killed, it'd be a fair trade-off. If he could get anywhere of 8+ killed, then he's going to be in a phenomenal position. I love how I'm just throwing numbers out there. The point is, he wants to get rid of a decent amount of workers, set Killer's economy behind. You know, he is marine heavy right now, and that's not the greatest defense. You do need bunkers to actually properly defend with marine heavy against a Protoss opponent. And as expected, SjoW coming down with the bunker. So here comes the drop harass right now. Killer completely unaware of the fact that this is on the way, but still prepared for that possibility of a drop and or Banshee harass. You can see some anti-air units right over there. We do have a robotics bay coming on through that is going to allow the work up into Colossus, and as we can see, there is that expansion. So here we go. We've got the observer making its way across the map, but here comes the drop prepared to go into the main, and I am not certain that this is going to do any damage. In fact, we can see right now the stalkers with that one shot threatening that medevac enough to force him to pull back, and SjoW deciding, you know, what am I going to do right now? This is a really tough call. He can continue to try to push on in, but obviously Killer is now fully aware of the fact that this is coming and prepared for it. Observer Scout inside of the main of SjoW and just checking out what exactly he is doing. We're seeing that tech lab that will be placed with a Rax on it. We will be seeing, of course, this starport with a reactor and a Rax going over there on that tech lab as well. This will be saved for a later date. Observer checking for it, hidden in the corner though. Safe for now. Killer doesn't know precisely where it is. We also have a Banshee moving out in this direction. Now, no cloak research, but we'll still be trying to do a little bit of economic harass. Now, what we may see here from SjoW is hit the natural with the Banshee, distract Killer to deal with that, and then drop in the main with that medevac, and that certainly could be quite effective. We'll have to see how it ends up playing out. Again, I do not think that this is something that Killer is aware of, so here we go. Banshee in position and moving in. So the Banshee will be working on in and trying to do some economic damage. We've got lots of stalkers pulling on back at the exact same time. There is some mobilization on the bottom portion of the map, and here comes that medevac drop with the Hellions, and let's see, he's got one worker kill, trying to get a couple more, but the Colossus comes on through and just trying to get one or two more kills. Oh, just barely missing. There he goes, picks it up, and should be able to get one more before he has to head on out of here. There it is. There's the pickup. Is he going to move back in with the Banshee? Nope, not deciding to. We do have some stalkers there that actually prevent that from doing anything, but 6 workers killed overall. So not bad at all. One observer here for Killer outside of the main base of SjoW. He is spotting to see when this bio push does come. We can see that Stimpack Research and Combat Shield coming on through. Should be seeing those double Vikings come through, but a little bit of supply blocks. So SjoW is going to have to wait until that finishes before he can actually work his way on through to that. Banshee now over here. Medevac primed to do another drop. We have a couple of stalkers over here. Stalkers getting a couple shots there on the Banshee, forcing it back right now. Another observer working. How many observers does he have in play right now? 3. Okay, 3 is not bad. I was going to say, I thought he was like sitting at 4 or 5 plus observers, and that's pretty intense and a pretty hefty investment. So right now the Banshee realizing no spot to engage. He's going to have to wait until the later stage of the game or head back home, and it looks like he may be heading back home, possibly even just checking out that third expansion, trying to get some scouting information to see if Killer has placed an expansion over there. So what do we have in terms of medevacs and Viking numbers? Just the one medevac that is holding up those Hellions there in the bottom right and the left-hand side of Killer's base. Besides that, going straight into Vikings just to deal with those Colossus. So not sitting heavy medevac number to get up a lot of healing, but a lot of Vikings just to deal with those Colossus as opposed to trying to get any healing from the medevacs. Right now, by moving across the map, we'll be just trying to get a little bit of map control, and besides that, both players, again, just kind of macroing up. We got Colossus coming out, bunch of upgrades coming out over here as well for Killer, and yeah, also a bunch of upgrades and just pumping out the bio over here for SjoW, and that's basically that. So for the second game in a row, we are just watching some macro mid-game, and that is that. Yes, upgrades, Colossus, bio. We actually seeing Twilight Council coming out, so that's going to allow the upgrade for those Charged Zealots and possibly even moving into those Blink Stalkers to try to deal with those Vikings. SCV moving out for SjoW and preparing to drop this expansion. And with that observer, TSL Killer is fully aware that this expo will be coming out, so SjoW will be placing that now in just one moment. SjoW also with control of the center of the map, and still not a whole lot of action here. Again, you know, it's great macro game, but geez, come on, do something, please. We saw that little bit of harass. I would like some response harass here from Killer. Send out, you know what, send out a War Prism, do a Zealot Bomb, that'd be awesome. Pull a White Raw, I would absolutely love that. Twilight Council is up right now, so we should be seeing that charge upgrade come on through. There it is, charge upgrade working its way on through right now. We also have now working onto higher and higher upgrades to level 2 armor coming out. Very, very nice indeed. He's just trying to keep up those upgrades, staying nice and strong. SjoW, this is something that hopefully he starts getting on the ball with. Last game, he was also quite a bit behind in terms of upgrades, and I think that certainly played a role in his loss last game as well. So hopefully we see SjoW try to work up those upgrades a little bit stronger in this game, put himself in a little bit of a better position. Banshee getting that free kill right there. There was a probe moving out for Killer that was attempting to lay down that third expansion. The Banshee, though, very nice indeed. He will be moving up here, however, walking into a cannon, just out of range at the moment. Still, ooh, look at this. Not a lot of defense over there. Prime for the pick in there with that medevac, and that medevac has got a great opportunity right now if it can move on in and lay that. Ooh, and look at this. Dropping right now, and let's see, is it going to be effective? Is it going to be effective? Needs to get around those zealots. There we go. Time for some probe roasting. Oh, caught by another warping in zealot, and some stalkers meeting them in the other end there. That was a very nice defense from Killer. That could have been much worse than it was. Still, overall, has lost 14 workers, but again, that could have been much more terrible. That zealot warp in, completely denying the continuation of that push there, was beautiful. I mean, that was absolutely beautiful. So good job there by Killer. Killer now moving out, feeling comfortable with his Colossus numbers. We'll be trying to regain control of the center of the map. These poor little Marines here not standing much of a chance. Again, the Marine, tisk. Not the sturdiest of unit, definitely very versatile, but unfortunately they are sent to do all the sacrificial jobs. Hey, scout out this base, hold the Zelnaga Tower. All things that result in them dying, unfortunately. The Marine ends up being sent out to do. So sad indeed. Observer Scout heading back. He's gotten the intel that he needs. He knows that SjoW's over here. He'll be checking this expansion just to see if SjoW decided to grab a fourth or not. Observer still in the center of the map for Killer, and that gets sniped down immediately. SjoW spotting it, landing that scan, being able to take out the Observer as a result. Seeing some High Templar transitions, so we'll be going for that same unit composition, just kind of a mix, a little bit of everything. I'll call it the grab bag. The grab bag Protoss build. I'll get Colossus and Zealots. We'll throw a couple Sentries, High Templar in there. Hey, why not? Just a little bit of everything. And very effective composition against a Terran Bio Viking, as long as you're able to land proper storms and try to protect your Colossus against those Vikings. You can do very well. So SjoW this time, what does he have to do? Well, we need some better snipes, some better ghost management in general. Don't lose a crap ton of your ghost, and hopefully some clutch EMPs. Last game, again, we saw some pretty devastating losses of ghost. There's a scan check in the middle, spawning Killer, and deciding time to move across the map. SjoW's feeling confident right now. They are getting to the point in the game where they're both nearing that 200 supply, hitting the cap, and the Vikings just continue pushing against those Colossus. That is the second Colossus to get dropped from that Viking fire. The Bio pushing forward without a lot of medevacs, so those stims are going to start to hurt pretty bad. Not a lot of medevacs at all. The Colossus getting sniped down from those Vikings. The Bio still stands, though. Should be pulling back right now while letting those Colossus numbers get thinned up by those Vikings before he keeps engaging. And both players with just a very small fraction of their initial army at the moment. Bio walking through the storm. That hurt quite a bit, and it looks like SjoW will be forced back, losing this medevac over here as well. Didn't work out exactly as planned, I would have to say. Taking a quick look at the unit loss tab. SjoW, yet again, second game in a row, a little bit behind. So, SjoW's got some making up to do. He needs to try to keep up this econ harass. Again, he has killed off 14 workers so far this game, so that's certainly a good spot for him. But that engagement definitely hurt him, and it looked like Killer had a little bit more remaining than SjoW did. Now, more ghosts coming out. There we go, more ghosts. Two more ghosts in production. We've got 2 in play. Going to be sitting actually a total of 3, and number 4 just about to pop. Finally getting the upgrades there for his Bio army. Level 1 upgrade for weapons finished. Level 2 just about to finish. But as we see here, Killer already on 2-2. So, I mean, geez, like, what? Still behind right now, and SjoW needs to really get on the ball in terms of those upgrades. Just now coming out with an armory. He can't even get weapons level 2 until he has that armory in play. So, and once that armory is in play, probably expect to see some upgrades for those Vikings. Both players sticking with the same unit composition. So once again, hopefully for SjoW's benefit, doesn't turn out the same as it did last game. It still seems to be the same general progression as we saw last game, with Killer up in terms of the damage he's dealing in engagements, up in terms of upgrades, and SjoW again has been able to do a little bit of economic damage, but he's going to have to do a little bit more to really get himself back in the game. SjoW right now getting that 4th expansion, a 4th coming out as well for Killer, so their timing's just impeccable as to being on par with each other. Both players just pretty much getting expansion whenever their opponents do, and that's a pretty popular and common tactic. You know, just keep an eyeball your opponent's expansions, figure out when they expand, and that gives you a good indication of when you yourself should probably get an expansion. We can see right now different hotkeys. He's got a whole hotkey dedicated to those ghosts there. That's obviously a good idea. That helps manage a little bit better. And we can see actually, ooh, War Prism. Where is it? Where is it? There it is, War Prism right over here, dropping some storms on that third expansion. Good thing I checked that, huh? It would have been pretty devastating to miss that. Very, very nice indeed. We will be seeing a response here by SjoW, moving on down, trying to push on this expansion. Some nice force fields going down. We are seeing some EMPs. Bio stimming up. Vikings nailing those Colossus. And oh boy, the bio of SjoW is in a strong position right now. Some more High Templar coming down though, and that's going to threaten with those storms and force SjoW to push back. Still keeping up the push though, SjoW having a fair amount of bio, a very nice EMP landing on the bulk of that Protoss army, and SjoW making a strong push right now. He's taking out all the cannons, a couple of pylons in the center of the map. SjoW did lose a fair amount of workers, 18 workers total though, from that storm dropping at the third. That was a very effective there by Killer. And the problem right now though is that Killer's risking losing his third and his fourth expansion. He has got to respond to this. He cannot wait too long. That stim bio will take this expansion out in seconds. So here comes, oh my gosh, he does not have enough. He doesn't have enough to push on it right now. Killer is forced to pull back, losing the third. He's going to lose the fourth as well. Killer's just trying to rebuild his army. He's in a tough spot, losing that third. Devastating. SjoW, good work, my friend. But we've got an Archon over there. There was some more harass. Another drop, killing off even more workers. We've got some more Archons preparing to land over here, killing off the SCVs. Very nice response there by Killer, even though he didn't have enough forces to prevent SjoW's bio from taking out his third and his fourth. The fact that he could do that economic damage is huge. So far, 29 workers killed right now. Absolutely beautiful. Killer engaging some of these reinforcements over here. We've got a lot of bio up here, though, and Killer just needs to be careful about when he chooses to engage the bulk of SjoW's force. Losing those expansions was devastating, but Killer does have another expansion coming out here. SjoW working to resaturate these expos over here. He's got a little bit of bio at each one of those, trying to prevent any more of that drop harass from being effective. I don't believe, okay, that War Prism is still in play, but again, where is it? I don't know where it is. It's not even hotkeyed right now, so I've got no idea where it is. I'm gonna check all over the place for it, but I don't think I'm gonna find it. Is it in the main? Guess it doesn't really matter. All right, so the bulk of the bio is sitting right over here right now, and here's all of Killer's forces. He'll be moving forward with a few of these High Templar, trying to land some storms. We've got reinforcements coming from the backside. There's a few ghosts right there. Killer needs to be careful not to get sandwiched, because that could hurt a lot. Here's some EMPs on the bulk of the force. We've got some more bio pushing from that side. Those Colossus plus Archons, though, will in fact tear through that without issue. So he has got to be incredibly careful. Stim going down. Vikings moving forward to engage those Colossus. The Colossus, though, doing so much damage. They're still alive. The Archons taking down those Vikings. And SjoW's bio has just been mopped up again. And there it is. The War Prism finally found it. Looks like it did more work over there at that expansion. The War Prism really needs to try to prioritize this one, though. This is completely saturated with SCVs and mules, and this could hurt a lot. Push coming across the map from Killer at the same time as this storm drop, and SjoW just not aware that there is blue in his base. Please check the minimap, sir, because as soon as these guys have energy, they're going to storm. And here we go, Killer forcing the liftoff of that third expansion. What is going on? Okay, he realized, I still don't have the energy. He's just going to come down with some zealots. Killer's forces moving right now into the natural expansion of SjoW. SjoW a little bit behind in terms of army size, 39 supply as opposed to 80 army supply. Killer again making a strong push, and this could be a problem for SjoW. SjoW has done so much damage this game, but those High Templar drops were so very effective, and there it is, SjoW calling the GG. Alright guys, that wraps up this best of 3 series here between Killer and SjoW. Just again, macro heavy games, very macro focused games, and yet again, a very nice showing of the strength of late game Protoss by TSL's Killer. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the commentary, please subscribe. Thanks again guys, keep watching and keep owning.